I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Bien sûr.
How are you?
Très bien. Et vous? Et toi?
Okay. You're going to start us off with a quote from Stephen King?
Yeah, I saw a headline about this and read the article, and I think he wrote some intro. I don't know what he wrote the intro to. I don't have that fact in front of me, okay? But I was struck by the quote as it relates to us, you and I, as people in the world, online.
Let's do it.
I'm impatient with the idea of spoilers, a term that's come into vogue along with other unpleasant side effects of the internet in general and social media in particular. I find "you spoiled it" to be typically the cry of spoiled people. I'd argue you can rarely spoil a good story because the joy is in the journey rather than the arrival. End quote. I have to say I agree with that, Mr. King.
I do think there's a difference between I just watched the finale of Drag Race in New York and it's at 6 p.m. and it's 6:01 and I'm on Instagram and I'm posting congratulations, blah, blah, blah. To me, that's like a deliberate effort. Like you just want to, can't wait.
I'm special. I know. Yeah, there's an etiquette to spoiling, actually. And, I actually take umbrage, I think, with that word as well, because to spoil it, to ruin something beyond repair, like a spoiled child, which that term doesn't really apply to, how humanity works either. But, films are not made to be watched one and done. If there's an actually crew of artists that are working to make something that withstands the tests of time. Like, how many movies do you watch again and again?
I'm just amazed that we get comments about like you're assholes for ruining a movie. And it's like, well, the plot point that you're referring to was buried in a 23-minute review.
Also, that's not
at like the 6-minute mark. So you had several minutes of two people explaining what they thought about the film before they actually said what it was about. I think that's weird. Like, so you're looking to get upset.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. It's clear what we do. So if you don't want it, ruined for you, go watch it your damn self and then come back. But we've said this over and over again throughout the years. I mean,
that's like looking through your partner's phone and then getting mad. Like, well, you know what you're going to find. Like, well, because if you're looking through the phone, you're suspicious. And I'm here to tell everyone, if you're suspicious, it's true. Like, the real course of action should be like, if it is true, what am I going to do? Like if I think something's true, then I don't know. That's a tangent. But anyway, yeah. Why are you online searching for something you hold precious?
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Not unlike people getting mad about someone not liking their favorite.
Oh God,
you're not a real fan then, because why are you online searching for toxic stuff about someone you claim to revere and admire? And
I don't know where all of a sudden there's these Jennifer Lopez defenders. I mean,
well, there's always, anytime a film features a notable person and like, let's say we don't like it, then it's just the comments.
Well, it's like,
because there are like, that person has millions of fans, and so they're going to find anything negative and try to shit on it. But
well, it's funny, like, oh, you guys hate J-Lo. Never ever have either of us said that.
Also, I would bet money that all the people who are mad that you don't like J-Lo or make comments like that, my follow-up question I would love to ask is, do you think this is a good movie?
Right.
Because I bet a percentage would say, well, no.
Exactly.
Okay, well, and I didn't say the movie was awful. In fact, I think I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, I think we were,
which means
in the middle
it's
on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
whatever. People, if you're gonna be trash, you're gonna be trash. I don't know what to say. I can't help you. I can only do so much.
Moving on, I saw a video. John C. Reilly did an interview, and I just saw the clip, but it made me laugh because apparently he's like best friends with Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
And he said that, earlier on in his career, he was in PTA movies. And then at a point, he told his friend, like, moving forward, if I'm not right for your movie, don't hire me. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't been in a PTA movie since.
Yeah.
But the way he said it, he's like, it was funny. And then he, of course, said, we're still the best of friends. But
did you find him well cast in Magnolia? Because I made you watch that recently.
I don't remember.
He's the cop that falls in love with
I remember
that tweaker.
I remember the movie and him in it as a cop, and I I don't recall what I thought of.
I thought he seemed sweet in that.
All I really remember is my friend Tommy Boy
in his underwear.
Yeah.
In the diaper underwear.
Okay. Then, oh God, like I got all these messages about Nicole Kidman because, she's filed for divorce from
Keith
Urban, which I swear I didn't even. If you asked me, is Nicole Kidman married? I probably would have said yes. And it would have taken me a minute to think to whom. But when I tell you I don't ever think about those people.
I was him for Halloween once. And then I used the same wig to be Kurt Cobain.
And all the memes of Nicole Kidman has finally given up her drag persona, Keith Urban. I think that's funny.
I love that.
But
did you read about are you trying to talk about the prenup?
Oh, no, but
Okay.
I know that the prenup said like for every year he stays clean from cocaine, he gets $600,000.
What?
If there's anyone out there who wants to marry me and offer me $600,000 a year to promise not to do something, we can talk about it. But
well, it would have to be something.
Well, it'd be something I could actually do.
Well, that means something to you. That's a sacrifice. Like no cake.
I promise not to go to church.
Oh yeah, like hey,
for every year I don't go to church,
I'm in no danger of getting a lot of money. Yeah,
I will gladly make that deal. But no, people send me all these pictures of her. I think she was because it was like Paris Fashion Week.
Oh yeah, she looks great.
And I think it was Balenciaga and her revenge hair.
Yes.
So I got many messages like, "Oh, what do you think of her hair?" That lady always looks like that.
Yeah, she does.
How many times have I seen Nicole Kidman with blonde hair and bangs?
Yeah.
That's not a new haircut for her.
No, it's not.
So I don't know what... I don't know. It would be more shocking to me because her hair is naturally curly. If I saw her with big natural curls, that would be something different.
Like she's going to be herself now.
Finally. I mean, she doesn't normally wear her own hair in movies. So to see her with her actual hair out is nice. But... yeah, I think it's funny. Like, oh, Nicole Kidman with bangs and long blonde hair. Like, that's how she always looks, except they're bad wigs. Moving on. So now the next few things are me showing how late I am to the party. But the first thing is...
don't be tardy to the party.
For some reason, because of the film we reviewed with Regina Hall... and Tiana Taylor.
One battle after another.
Yeah. So then I went on this kick where I was watching all these Regina Hall interviews. Like I watched hours of them. And she was on The View back in 2020. And she told a story about how she used to live in Sal Mineo's apartment where he was murdered.
Oh, God.
And she said that his ghost would steal her cleaning products.
Okay, Regina. All right.
And she didn't learn that it was him until Sean Cassidy, like the old heartthrob singer from whatever, the 60s.
My mother liked, yeah.
Yeah, that he memorialized Mineo at that apartment. And that's when she realized, that was... she's saying that was the spirit who was haunting her cleaning supplies.
Yeah, they're still renting that apartment out?
But... so then I was watching other things, and Regina Hall, I like her a lot, I do think she's very funny. But I have to say, she in interviews is a little awkward. I probably watched like 30 interviews with her, and in every single interview, there's always one little thing that's like, oh, you're just a little... I don't know, that you're like... you seem super lovely, and to work with, you seem like a dream. Like everyone who works with her says she's the best. But then she was on the Jennifer Hudson show, and Jennifer's non-interviewing ass. Oh, Birdie told me you can sing. You can do that. How do you sing? But and Regina's like, well, I mean, I think I can
talk so I can sing. So
and she's like, well, let's do something together. Let's harmonize. She's like, well, no, I'm not gonna sing with Jennifer Hudson.
No.
And then she's like, well, like, can you harmonize? She's like, well, Jennifer said, what made you think you could sing? And she goes, well, Lisa and the Cult Jam.
Hey, there's a new movie about them.
And I'm a huge fan of Lisa. But she said, well, how like on her song, I Wonder If I Take You Home, how she's off pitch. That's how I think I sing. And the way Jennifer Hudson looked at her was like, not you saying Lisa Lisa is off pitch on the record, which of course then made me think of the video of Whitney Houston screaming about how Paula Abdul
On
is
the record.
off key on the record.
Like, ooh.
And her mom is like, girl,
You want to say
you're on a recording right now. But moving on to also some older things, Carlos King interviewed Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad, and Carlos asked him, why did we never see the video for Put It in a Love Song?
Oh, you sent me that clip? That is an odd, cryptic thing.
And so the clip I send you, it is odd and cryptic and really doesn't say much. So then I watched the larger segment, and he's just saying that the area that they Sony, the label that funded the video, they made all the arrangements and set it in a location that had high gang activity.
It wasn't in like Rio?
In Brazil.
Yeah.
And Matthew Knowles says that they just never paid off the cartel people or the gang lords. And so it wasn't safe for them to be there. So they had to lift them out before they could finish the video.
Which is so weird. Like, can't you just film it somewhere else?
But he didn't say like who was threatened, but you can assume maybe someone said like,
Did the cartel?
Someone felt not safe enough to say we have to get out of here.
Okay, sure, and that's an interesting story. But does that mean like, oh, did the cartel leader say, if I ever see a video for this song by you two, we're gonna come find you and kill you? Film it somewhere. Film it in Florida. Film it somewhere else.
Well, I don't know.
Like, does that right?
It seems. I mean, the question was not like, why didn't you film it in Brazil? The question's like, why did we never get a video for Put It in a Love Song? And it's like, well, yeah, y'all could have just shot a video
in a studio
anywhere. Like, it didn't have to be that theme.
And then he's telling,
it could have been in a bookstore.
He's telling Carlos, young man, you don't know the half of it.
Well, Matthew Knowles is weird.
Yes.
Okay. Then some other things that I didn't know that are kind of old is I was watching an interview with Andy Samberg. And he was on a show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, I know people are screaming like, yeah, that was a very popular show, but I didn't know I didn't know anything about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But there's an actor named Andre Braugher.
Yeah. Isn't he? Did Andre die recently?
He died in 2023. Yeah. But Andy, and he was being interviewed by Amy Poehler. They were talking about how great Andre Braugher was and how they missed him. But they were talking about how Andre Braugher was like this very serious thespian and trained at Juilliard. And
yes,
initially Andy was concerned, like, is he going to be able to act next against him? But really Andre was more concerned, like, am I going to be able to be funny? And ultimately he was super funny. So I'm like, oh, well, let me watch like some clips. So I watched like a 20-minute like best of Andre Braugher on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you know that character?
No, I never watched
Captain
that show.
Holt.
Okay.
And Andre Braugher, I assume, is not gay because he was married to a woman and had children with her. But on the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I know people are screaming like, duh, stupid, but Captain Holt is a gay man.
Okay.
And I mean, he, it's giving like an elevated Titus Burgess from Kimmy Schmidt.
Okay.
He is so funny. He's so funny that it makes me want to go watch all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine just for him.
Okay. Oh, you've seen him in so many things, though.
I recognize him, and he reminds me of someone we the way he speaks and kind of looks.
Well, he kind of has. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, but he has the gravitas of a Poitier.
Oh, he's, from what I watched, just splendid. And really is the only reason that I'm thinking I want to put on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and watch it from start to finish.
I mean, especially if you compare it to his other huge series, which is Homicide: Life on the Street.
Okay, moving on. So someone was arrested
every day
in conjunction with the Palisades Fire.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of trash.
An Uber driver named Jonathan Rinderknecht.
A Floridian.
And baby, I was reading all about this and how he was caught. And, with all the true crime stuff I watch and listen to, I still maintain that the best course of action is like, if you did something wrong, you just need to say it. It'll always be better. I mean, Of course, if you can predict the future and know that you can get away with a lie, then I guess you should lie about it. But with technology, surveillance, I mean, the way they hem this man up is like, it's embarrassing.
Well, they were able to geolocate him to 30 feet away from where the fire started because he was trying to play some games. Like I was at the end of the trail and yards away when I called 911. It's like, no, you started it. You were right there.
Well, so he was traced to a small fire that was ignited on January 1st. The fire was believed to be extinguished, but it smoldered and then rekindled days later. And
Which
strong winds eventually turned into the full Palisades Fire.
I have questions about that too. Like they smolder for days. The firefighters didn't put that out.
Well, embers don't smoke, like, so I mean, I don't know. But the chain of events, just a quick recap. So on New Year's Eve, the suspect, because he hasn't been, found guilty of anything, but Jonathan Rinderknecht, he was working as an Uber driver in the Palisades area. His last passengers recalled him being agitated and angry. He dropped a passenger off near Palisades Drive shortly before midnight and then drove towards the trailhead area. Video surveillance captured his vehicle in locations consistent with the timeline leading to the trail. Phone geolocation data placed him much closer to the origin of the blaze than he initially claimed during interviews. Like you said, they showed that he was like 30 feet away from the fire. Investigators say that he asked ChatGPT whether one would be at fault if a fire began from a cigarette. He then generated AI imagery of a burning city before the fire and claimed to have burned a Bible, calling it liberating. He then allegedly repeatedly listened to a French rap song, the name of which I can't really pronounce. But the music video for this song that he was listening to includes scenes of fire being set. So that's incriminating. Also, if you look at the image that he generated on ChatGPT, it's eerie. There are several images.
Is it called L'Inferno?
During a January 24th interview, he gave misleading statements about his location at the fire's start. He later allegedly returned to the fire area, even offering assistance to firefighters, which of course is behavior that's viewed as unusual.
The behavior of firebugs.
But in October of this year, so last week, he was arrested in Florida and charged with destruction of property by means of fire.
So what, he went back to Florida?
I'm assuming he knew pun intended, the block was hot because he had been interviewed in January. So he probably thought, if I get out of there, I'm less likely to get caught up. He's 29. He's a handsome young man. Like, it's a shame that his life is ruined for the time being over.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll have better luck in prison.
Well, it's also like he probably is having mental health issues.
Well,
if he's
definitely,
like, obsessed with fire, playing with fire.
But it's just like that shit that was ruinous, like.
But people make mistakes too.
They do, but there should be punishment.
There should, but it's just it's just kind of crazy to think like someone's stupid little decision caused such mass destruction.
But that is so. It also highlights how easy it is to cause large scale destruction, and how really we're not prepared to deal with people doing things like that.
Well, no.
In retrospect, of course, we can,
But, for his own, things would have turned out so much more differently if he would have just called and said, hey, I think I accidentally started a fire.
Well, that too, yeah.
Because had he done that and firefighters thought they put it out and then it reignited, he wouldn't even be part of the conversation because he did his due diligence in contacting the authorities and whether or not they gave him a ticket for, I mean, I don't even know. I'm assuming it's illegal to throw your cigarette into the brush or something.
Yes.
But yeah, reading about him made me think that it is so important that when things go left, you need to kind of just own up to it before it gets too bad.
Yes.
Because how many stories have we watched where it's like, oh my God, if you would have just said something initially, this would be not like a non-issue. But then people are sneaky and want to cover shit up. And then.
Yes. His moral malfeasance has made him culpable. Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Okay. There were a couple of things in the restaurant section I forgot last week.
Oh.
One was that we tried Il Forneo for the first time, which is a popular
chain
of, they're like nicer restaurants.
Yeah,
It's like if Olive Garden were bougie or something.
we went to
The one in Beverly Hills, right
Mhm.
before we watched something.
Something. Yep.
After all these years,
I think if I had legs, I'd kick you. I think that's.
oh, maybe. After all these years, we've never walked like the Rodeo Drive, like up that famous.
Yeah, never.
And we are there all the time. And the restaurant Il Fordeo is like right across the street, and we still didn't walk up there.
No, I mean, I see
it never occurs to me that I would care to, because what am I going to do? Like take a picture?
I don't want to buy anything. I don't need to take a picture. I'll probably be silently judging everyone walking by, which is I don't need to do.
The most fun of walking around in that area to me, because I'm familiar, like I often drive through there, is, you know, a lot of the stores, like Bulgari used to have like a Bulgari car parked in front, and you know, all the luxury cars people park out front to be flashy. It's kind of fun.
Actually, that reminds me, because I took note and forgot of all of the art installations that are on the street now.
Yeah, because you recognize them from Berlin.
No, Nice.
Oh, Nice.
There was that blue gorilla. I'm sure I've seen it. There are some. It's from an artist named Richard Orlinski, and they're large geometric sculptures of gorillas.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure I saw one of those in Nice as well. But they are striking. But
speaking of that, we were watching Sigourney Weaver revisited the jungles.
She went back to Rwanda in 2006. Yeah. And I'd never seen, you know, back then I was still in college. I didn't have access to cable. There was, you know, back in those days, there was no way to get things streaming so easily. And I found a copy because it was her birthday this past week. And I was, you know, I'm always trying to catch up on things that rarities and obscurities that I haven't seen. And that was one of them. And I found her clips from that.
But anyway, Il Forneo, a couple of things. We got there pretty early because the movie started at 7, I think. So it wasn't super busy, but the gentleman who sat us was very nice. The gentleman who got us our drinks was very nice. And then the server, who was also nice enough, but we had placed our food order, which included a pizza. And then after he takes the order, he comes back and he goes, "Oh, you don't want any bread. I mean, since you ordered pizza."
And I was like, "No, I want bread.
Bitch, you better bring me a basket of bread."
I remember I was actually very hungry. Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny, but
bring me that bread and that balsamic vinegar and that Earl.
We ordered veal and a pizza.
Yes.
And I'm sure I've had veal before, but I mean, not in recent memory, because I didn't recall ever.
The veal scallopini.
I didn't even know what the texture would be like. To me, it tasted like, it looked like gray chicken.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I think that's probably not what how scallopini, to my knowledge, is prepared. Is everything's heavily tenderized and beaten. So
that plate, it was like spinach with mashed potatoes and the veal with a little gravy on it. That kind of was giving me like chicken piccata.
What? Yeah,
but I thought it was very mid.
I mean, because how much was that dish?
Like 38 or
it was something like that. Yeah,
it wasn't cheap. I mean, for like
that.
It wasn't for this little piece of meat and like a little bit of food, but I thought it was, that could have been a plate from Perkins.
Oh God.
If y'all know, Perkins is like Denny's or IHOP or something.
Oh yeah, the Perkins isn't out here.
No.
Yeah, the pizza was good though.
Pizza,
it was fine. I liked
that pizza was like a better frozen pizza to me.
It was overpriced, but again, I was super hungry. The service was nice. It was fine enough. I don't know that I would make a point to go back ever, but
I did order a pumpkin martini, and that was the best part of my meal.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was very good.
That tasted like a dessert, though.
And then I forgot to mention, when I was in Merida a couple of weeks ago, I ate at a restaurant called, on the last night we were there, so like our final dinner, we ate at a restaurant. Someone chose something called La Negrita. Oh. So I was like, and I was the only black person in the group.
The little black.
So the person who mentioned, so we're all sitting around like, where are we going to go for dinner? And someone said, "Oh, well, this looks good, La Negrita." And then as soon as they said it, everyone looked at me like, is it okay to go eat there?
I don't know.
And I said, if I walk in there and there are pictures of little black girls, I'm not eating there.
What are,
So we
no, what are those terrifying little statues called?
the gollywogs
or yeah.
So we get there, and it was actually a really interesting restaurant because you walk in and it felt like maybe it was giving like Harlem Renaissance vibes when you walk in. So it was like there are pictures like a black woman, like a Dorothy Dandridge looking woman. So I'm not quite sure what they were giving with that title of the restaurant. I don't know, but you walk in, it's like this really cute small spot. So I'm like, well, where are we supposed to eat in here? And then the server says, follow me. And then we go through like a back door. And then it's this huge, like semi-outdoor area, like huge, with lots of seating, a huge stage that had a live band performing. So it was loud.
Yeah, I don't like, that's usually not how I like to.
But if the volume were down like 30%, it would be like the most magical experience. But it was just far too loud.
Would you say that it's a place where somehow even heartbreak feels good in a place like this?
Oh, God. But I'm bringing it up because I have never experienced this, certainly not in a Mexican restaurant. They brought out like little hors d'oeuvres.
What do you know about hors d'oeuvres?
Instead of chips and salsa. Okay. And let me tell you what these hors d'oeuvres were. Because I was gagging, literally. Let's start with hot dog chunks.
Ew.
So they had taken hot dogs and diced them up, and they were like raw. Well, hot dogs are cooked,
they were cold.
No one had put them on the little wheel at 7-Eleven.
You know, Ed Gein, those sound like sinful cold cuts.
So someone had taken cold hot dogs, cut them up, and then marinated them in like maybe vinegar.
Oh.
And then they gave you like little straws. So I guess like,
did you say Vienna straw?
No. What do you call the thing you pick your teeth with?
A toothpick.
A toothpick.
I was like, what? You are sucking up the hot dog?
No,
like in a boba straw?
So I guess like Vienna sausage vibes. So that was a no.
You know, I like those little barbecue things that you get at the Midwestern cookouts.
Then they had what I could only describe as cold breaded bread. So it was like someone had taken bread, like stale, like baguette, like the innards of a baguette, and then breaded it, like maybe dipped that in egg and breadcrumbs, deep fried it, but then let it be cold.
Okay.
So it was cold breaded bread.
With a little marinara sauce, something.
There was marinara, but it was cold. So it was all cold.
Okay, no. Okay.
But the thing that, as I'm reading it now, is making me giggle again, is because only one person in the group spoke Spanish well enough to ask questions. When I asked him to ask, like, what the fuck is, excuse me, what is this? The server said it was finger spaghetti. So what? It was spaghetti that someone had chopped up. Like if you took the spaghetti noodles and every 2 inches cut it.
Oh, okay.
And it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had some kind of dressing on it, like maybe like French dressing, like Thousand Island, that was kind of stirred into it. And you were supposed to eat it with your fingers. Like you just dip your hand in the bowl and eat this finger spaghetti.
No. And it's a communal bowl, or you get your own bowl?
There were how many? 7 of us. So they brought out like 3 different sets of these hors d'oeuvres.
So you had to share.
But you are sharing the finger spaghetti.
Finger bowl. Oh no, not with these homosexuals,
baby.
No.
So,
those
and then I ordered guacamole, which was good, but they didn't give you chips. They gave chicharrones.
Interesting. Yeah, I like chicharrones.
Which is interesting, but it's like, I mean, y'all just doing everything.
But those
different.
are hard to munch on, though.
Well, and they get soggy.
Yeah, maybe
like they were kind of stale.
I guess
so
it would slow me down from wolfing down the guacamole.
And then I got conchinita pibil tacos, which were very tasty. But the final gag, so I can get off this story, is I said I got my plate and it was 3 tacos, and they were pretty big. Like I couldn't have eaten all 3. But then I'm like, so I guess they don't come with beans and rice. May I order a side of beans and rice? Oh, we don't sell beans and rice here.
Oh.
Excuse me?
You need to go back to America.
What is this? Okay, films released we didn't cover.
Oh.
Vicious.
These are, I wish we turned out a lot this week. Let me tell you, as you know.
You don't need to tell me.
I know. But these three were things that I would have liked to cover. But Vicious is a new film by Brian Bertino, and I think it it was released on Paramount Plus. It stars Dakota Fanning. But we reviewed his previous film, The Dark and the Wicked, which I was a big fan of from 2020. He's probably still best known for directing the first The Strangers film with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman, which is technically heavily... it's a very loose remake of the French film Il, Them. But yeah, that is out now.
Then The Woman in Cabin 10.
This is a Netflix release that came out Friday, directed by Simon Stone, who I think I might have written a review of his previous film, The Dig, with Carey Mulligan, who stepped in for Nicole Kidman and was much too young for that role. Anyway, Keira Knightley and Guy Pearce are in it, and it's I think it's a thriller set aboard a luxury cruise ship.
I see billboards for this near us.
Yeah.
And I like Keira Knightley.
I do too. I might try to fit this in this weekend.
And I like a good little thriller.
Yeah.
So I was interested in watching this. I didn't realize it had already come out.
Yeah, well, yesterday, yeah.
And After the Hunt.
Again, we just since we've both been back from traveling, we have been traveling to watch things every night. So After the Hunt, I think we missed all the press screenings for that, and we didn't cover it. I saw it in Venice, and I think it's an interesting film to talk about. It's also a long film, directed by Luca Guadagnino, starring Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield. I think it opened in limited release Friday. It expands next week, but it's worth seeing. And you're a Julia Roberts fan, but we just couldn't fit it in.
Okay, projects of interest. So Sigourney Weaver was at Comic-Con?
In New York, and color me surprised, but this hit like a little bomb yesterday afternoon. She just happened to mention, for forever, back in 2017, Neil Blomkamp, who directed her in Chappie, who I don't actually believe has done a good film since his debut, District 9, but he was gonna reunite Sigourney, Michael Biehn, and they were going to pretend Alien 3 and Resurrection didn't happen, and it was going to be a sequel to Aliens, and everyone was all hyped, and then Ridley Scott stopped that from happening, essentially, and Sigourney's since then been very vocal that she's fine letting Ellen Ripley rest. She doesn't need to go back. She's not been interested in doing cameos. She's in the following films. However, she happened to mention that her good old buddy Walter Hill, who, Walter Hill and David Giler were the producers of the original Alien, and he has directed her in the movie The Assignment, Mr. Hill. So they actually are good friends. He's given her a 50-page script that she said that she's in love with and she would consider, and she's going to finish fleshing out the story with him potentially. And she's already she goes, I met with Fox or Disney, whoever it is now. So it sounds like conversations are happening. I wouldn't get my hopes up, and I don't need her to reprise this role, even though, it's of course why I and probably most of everyone who knows her originally might have fallen in love with her. But I would be very excited to see what could be done that's well written and not a cash grab. Oh, what else? Sorry, I think I had pulled up something. She made a comment that she loves what Walter's done with the character. He really gets her strength and her anger and her humor, and it's very hard to write. It's surprisingly hard to write Ripley. Everybody makes you sound like a gym teacher. All right, people, let's do business. So Walter has it.
Let's do business. Next, RuPaul and Drag Race icons are heading to the big screen. A new action comedy from director Adam Shankman will mark the first ever RuPaul's Drag Race feature film. The star-studded cast includes Ginger Minj, Jujubee, Simone, Monet Exchange, Brooklyn Heights, Latrice Royale, and Marsha, alongside RuPaul as President Gagwell. The film follows two train stewardesses who swap the stank rail for the high glam Glamazonian Express, only for a Stormaganza to send their trip off the rails. I already think
I'm already annoyed.
Well, because it just sounds like one of those stupid like acting challenges.
Oh, and Adam Shankman makes me uncomfortable. and I don't think he's the best director.
Will I watch this movie? 100%.
But which queen did RuPaul say, I have one note for you, edit? Because that's what, you can't stuff all of these queens in there, and it's going to feel zany and
well, it's going to
jam-packed.
Feel like that Christmas movie that was terrible. But
Yeah.
it had moments, because I think drag is fun, but I think drag to me is most fun when it's subversive and or funny or there's performance involved.
I love a well-placed cameo, but half these queens are not funny, and they're just going to be led on the screen. I don't know.
Well, but it's also like if they can act,
if
and if the writing's good, and if the lighting is good, and
if they have time to rehearse, yeah, I don't know.
But it's World of Wonder, Universal, and Bleecker Street, so it might be a real movie.
Yeah, well, let's hope they get the time and the resources they need to do it well.
Unfortunately, there are entries in the obituary section. Ken Jacobs died. He's an American experimental filmmaker. I'm not familiar with his movies.
New York Ghetto Fish Market.
He has a movie called New York Ghetto Fish Market.
1903. Okay.
I think that's the wrong Ken Jacobs.
No, he died October 5th, 2025?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a film called New York Ghetto Fish Market.
From 1903?
No, that's the title.
Oh.
It's from 2007.
Wow.
I haven't seen anything that he's directed. Oh, well, 60 Seconds of Solitude in Year Zero, because that's, yeah, I mean, he's covered a lot of subjects that are familiar, but yeah, very prolific. I have not seen anything he's directed, though.
And then Kimberly Hébert Gregory died. She's probably best known for her role on the HBO comedy series Vice Principals. She was only 52 years old. That's sad.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading about that, but anyway.
And lastly, it came as a shock to you.
Well, yeah, because I slept in and was not looking at my phone or Instagram or anything, and I was watching a really dumb Amazon movie, and you're like, oh, Diane Keaton died. I'm like, what?
Of course, iconic American actress.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
I am very familiar with her. This morning I was trying to think, if without any help, what are some Diane Keaton movies I could name? And I came up with Annie Hall.
Yeah.
And I only know Annie Hall because it's Sigourney Weaver's first movie.
Yeah. 6-second role. Yeah.
And I had a quote unquote friend who was obsessed with First Wives Club.
Yeah. Well, he's with Bette. That friend?
Huh?
He's obsessed with Bette Midler.
No.
Oh, different friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he would always have it on. I only went to his house a few times, but he would have it on. And it never occurred to me to sit and watch it. But I know she's in it.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember I have fond memories of it.
And then I know we reviewed Mac and Rita
in summer camp.
And I didn't remember she was in summer camp. But she's known for much better things, like the Godfather films, 1 and 2. Is she in 3?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't seen 3
You haven't seen that yet, but yeah. The Father of the Bride films. I mean, her early work in the 70s with Woody Allen. I don't know. It bums me out. And she was 79, which I don't know. It seems. I'm curious. I don't know. She has other stuff. It must be a surprise because she had other things in development. I don't know, but.
Do you want to run through your list of your favorite Diane Keaton performances?
Well, Annie Hall is must see, of course. It won Best Picture. She won Best Actress. That's an iconic role in film. But I didn't really put them in any particular order. But these are films that I love for different reasons. But The Family Stone, which I don't believe you've seen, but that she's a lovely mother of a strange family, including some queers. But there's a very, dare I say, an iconic scene from that. And the film itself is flawed in some ways, but I like her a lot in it. Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which I had a movie night years and years ago that you were at, and you probably don't remember it, but that's where she's out going to a bar looking for sympathy, a little company. She tries to find a friend, and he kills her. Tom Berenger, who's actually queer and can't get erect after she brings him home, and he kills her. Richard Brooks directed. Yeah, that's a wonderful, dark troubling film from the 70s. Interiors, which is my favorite Woody Allen film, actually, that is not a comedy. It is like an Ingmar Bergman film. It's incredibly depressing. And I've always intended to show it to you. It's, it'll be a podcast film, I believe, one day. But I really love her in that. The entire cast, Geraldine Page is excellent in that. And if you've never seen it, and now I'm really hungry to rewatch this, but Marvin's Room from 1996, where Meryl Streep plays her sister, and Leonardo DiCaprio is a teenager in it. And Sigourney had turned that film down. She was supposed to be the Meryl character, and she often said she wished she'd done it so she could have worked with Diane Keaton in that capacity. I think they're both do voice work in Finding Dory, though. But yeah, Marvin's Room is really good and sad.
The secret film this week was your choice, although I'm sure you'll argue I forced you into it.
No, it's not, because I've been wanting to rewatch this, and I'm glad I did, and there are special circumstances as to how it transpired.
Well, it is the 1980 Italian cannibal film, Cannibal Holocaust, directed by Ruggero Deodato.
That's correct.
Why do we watch this film?
Mm-hmm.
Because a viewer, subscriber, patron invited us to see it at Beyond Fest, and we said yes. And I thought, since it's October and horror is the theme, this fits nicely.
Yes.
So kill two birds.
And only recently this weekend, because we saw 2 Beyond Fest screenings, I brought you to Surat as well.
That's right.
Earlier the same weekend, we discovered this cute little place for drinks and food. If you're ever at the Aero Theater, it's called Father's Office, which I quite like.
Okay.
I do. I like it. It's cute.
Good. What is Cannibal Holocaust about? An anthropologist ventures into the Amazon rainforest on a rescue mission, where he recovers footage shot by a film crew documenting their disastrous encounters with local cannibal tribes. What is your relationship to this movie?
I mean, this is a incredibly infamous film. And so I've been aware. I own a copy of it, but I haven't watched it since before I met you. And I believe that when you first moved in with me, I think you watched it one day on your own. But it's kind of the grandfather.
When you picked me up from off the street and provided me with housing.
No, when I gave you keys to my apartment and asked you to move in. The cannibal boom of the 70s and 80s, but and there were films before this, including by Deodato, had kind of a film which goes, one of the titles is Jungle Holocaust, which I have not seen, but this one was infamous for several reasons, and so yeah, as part of the zeitgeist, it's a notable film.
I think I watched this film one day at home alone.
Yeah, we didn't watch. This is the first time we watched it together.
Yeah, back in like 2009, maybe
08, 09,
or 08. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't remember anything upon the rewatch, except there's a scene with a woman who's been, the challenge with doing this movie is we can't really talk about in graphic detail a lot of what happens at the expense of being demonetized. But there's a scene where a tribeswoman is skewered. Like chicken satay.
But vertically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like through her birth canal up through her mouth.
The scene that
I recalled.
The scene that I didn't remember much about the plot. And again, I probably was in college when I think I bought my copy of it at Borders bookstore. I used to buy movies there, which has long been out of business.
Oh, before you go too far, which I'm sure you will, but this film contains a lot of animal cruelty.
That's one of the reasons why it's infamous.
So yeah. I think if that upsets a person, they should definitely skip hearing about this movie, because it is very upsetting.
It is upsetting. And as much as I'm not championing that or want to see that, I think it does have a profound effect when you see it. And I don't believe that Deodato was only doing this to be exploitative. I think that there are very clear messages about what's being said with the film, sometimes too bluntly, sometimes so bluntly it just feels like a straight up comedy. But that's the hardest part, really, are those moments with the animals. But what has always stuck in my head is a scene with a tortoise.
Well, so this film, the controversy around it stems from a couple of things. First, the extreme violence. It's important to know we watched the uncut version.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember as many sex scenes.
Yeah, and I was reading the difference between the two. The pretty much is just amped up. Like the runtime is not that much longer than the theatrical version, but they amp up all the violence, the sex, the animal cruelty, so it's on full display. But there's extremely graphic scenes of murder, sexual assault, dismemberment. There are real animal killings.
Yeah, it's
Like you mentioned, the turtle, a monkey, a pig, which I think is probably the most condemned aspects of this film.
yeah.
Then there were obscenity charges because after its release, Italian authorities seized the film and arrested the director, thinking that
Real murders, because I seem to remember years ago reading that the cast had to come out and be like, no, we're live.
yeah, he was later acquitted after proving that the actors were alive and the killings were staged.
And part of it's the end credits. None of those because it's a film within a film. It's a lost footage film, and all of those actors from the lost footage, and we'll get into it, but they aren't credited at the end.
And then this film was banned in over 50 countries. Of course, it was labeled a video nasty.
Of course.
So there's that controversy behind the film, which I think, upon a rewatch, it's uncomfortable to sit through. I'm not a squeamish person. I think my discomfort was knowing that there were other people in the audience who were probably uncomfortable. Of course, watching animal cruelty, even when they're fake animals, is upsetting. But knowing that these are real animals is like, whoa. So, yeah, it's uncomfortable. But is this the original found footage horror film?
I'm not sure about that.
I mean, it obviously predates something like the Blair Witch Project.
Well, certainly before that was
So,
even a thing.
Yeah.
There is the stroke of brilliance about this film, though, is the score.
The score, we were listening to it
I've
driving home the other day.
I've been listening to it every day since, and as soon as it started playing, I was like, oh yeah. But Riz Ortolani is the composer, and of course it's at odds with the carnage on screen, because it would seem like it's it's kind of a really happy score, and I think that's the disparity that you're supposed to be. The cat is really needing attention right now. That the carnage that's going on screen is supposed to be kind of a juxtaposition because of it's from the perspective of the colonizer, if you will.
We're going to get to that and the themes, but so like you mentioned, it's a film within a film. It's kind of like a pseudo documentary that then contains found footage. But we should probably explain the story, which is kind of simple. So there's an anthropologist named Harold Monroe who's sent into the Amazon rainforest to investigate the disappearance of a missing documentary crew. So the opening of the film is we meet this crew of very attractive people. There are 4 of them, 3 guys, 1 woman. And they're these American filmmakers who have gone into the Amazon to make a documentary about the indigenous tribes and their rumored cannibalism. And never came back. So that's why this anthropologist, Harold Monroe, is gone. And he's assembled a team. They get out there and they find remnants of this previous filmmaking crew's expedition, like their equipment, their bones, and ultimately this undeveloped film reel. So then we go back to New York, and the anthropologist is meeting with like a television network, who want to air this found footage. But Monroe, as he's watching the footage, is like, this is not suitable Like, I don't think you people understand like what we found on these, like on this film.
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching that found footage, and ultimately the TV execs decide that what they see is not going to work, and so they instruct someone to burn the film.
Right.
And that's the end of the movie.
With Harold Monroe, the last line played by Robert Kerman, saying, "I wonder who the real cannibals are."
Right.
Because I think this is it's a film that violates ethics, but also is clearly about ethics. Because the documentarian that's leading this crew that are all cannibalized, Alan Yates. The details we get about this person are that he was kind of a charlatan that pushed boundaries.
I'll say I think that the notoriety this film has cast a shadow on what I think is kind of an impressive film. When you think about the production, the story it's telling,
Mm-hmm.
the acting suffers to a degree, but when you consider that these are probably all one take situations, these
Right.
people are in some kind of jungle,
Mm-hmm.
being exposed to the elements and everything, and are probably not used to that environment. So I'm sure it was super uncomfortable. They're shooting on film. I'm assuming because they are in the middle of this rainforest, they don't have access to unlimited resources.
Yeah, the Colombia, the
So when
Amazon
you
rainforest.
when you factor all of that into the equation, I think this is, and I know people have serious problems with it, but I think it's an impressive film.
I agree, and it's I think obviously a time capsule of methods of filmmaking that aren't like I said also aren't ethical, and this is what it looks and feels like, and there's a reason why we shouldn't be doing that.
And I think what also saves it for me is the messaging. So let's go through some themes. So media exploitation,
Mm-hmm.
it's Western media that we're focused on, like
Mm-hmm.
this American network. I don't recall, like, is it TV or are they trying to make a film?
It seems like it's for a television
Either way,
network.
like studio execs.
Well, and they're watching horrible things happen, and the end of the film is like them watching the most horrible bits, but like this female executive is like, "This is great," and the press is like, no, this is horrifying what's going on. But I think it speaks to, and you, right after we saw it, you referenced this woman's TED talk, and I'm forgetting her name.
Oh yes, I
But
should find her.
about how easily we dehumanize people, like these indigenous peoples, that they're not considering what their experience is, being confronted with these Western methods and attitudes that are exploiting their images and their culture.
Oh darn, I wish I would have thought to write it down, but there's this Black female scholar who teaches like race studies, and yeah, she has some really good lectures out there, and I'm so embarrassed that I can't recall it at the moment. But the
Well, after when you publish, if we can't think of it during recording, you can always
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people's proximity to the subject sort of dictates how palatable some things are, like the violence and the oppression that certain communities face is more palatable when there's more distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that sort of goes into the next theme of colonialism and hypocrisy, because the filmmakers, the group of four who this anthropologist is trying to track down, they're considered civilized.
Right.
And even as the TV execs or the studio execs are reviewing the footage, they're making a lot of concessions for them.
Yes.
Like they're oblivious to the fact that what they're doing is horrific. And because at one point the anthropologist, Monroe, has to say, like, I don't think you people have seen all the footage I've seen.
Right.
So that's when things sort of escalate and get worse and worse. And I think everything's terrible, but the first thing that really like took my breath away was these fools corral the tribes people, because there's also this thing of like there are two different tribes in this region.
Yeah.
And so these filmmakers, the first four who go, they're kind of pitting them against each other in their own minds. Like they've created this narrative that like they're bad and they're bad against each other. But they corral a bunch of these tribes people into these huts and set them on fire
while this rosy tinted score is playing.
So it's like, that is deplorable.
It's really grotesque.
And then after the fire's done, two of the filmmakers proceed to have sex with the surviving tribe members looking on in the distance.
Oh yeah, there are a couple of scenes where women, indigenous women, are grabbed and they are assaulted sexually. And you know what? The sole female that's part of the film crew, Faye Daniels, played by Francesca Chiardi, she is protesting the men filming this assault, not because of the assault, because they're running low on film. And you know what? That reminded me of a scene recently in the Ed Gein story where Laurie Metcalf, as the mother, is upset at this dog is being murdered, and she's upset that there's adultery going on in the house where the dog's being murdered. It's that that level of desensitization, which is really disturbing.
Well, and the filmmaker commented that this film is a film against violence that uses violence. And I don't know, maybe if a modern, I don't know.
Well, it should.
I kind of believe that.
It should have its desired effect.
In 2025, if a filmmaker came out with something as violent, and of course they couldn't do it to this level with like the actual animal killings and whatnot. But I think I'm so jaded that nowadays when people do sensational things, like, oh, you're just trying to get attention.
Right.
But I kind of feel like with this film, that was the intention, is to have this extreme depiction to show the hypocrisy. Because like these tribes people are seen as savages, when in actuality, the only people who we're seeing being savage are those four American filmmakers.
Well, you know, but we are seeing customs that we would find deplorable, right?
Yeah, because the first one we see is when the anthropologist shows up and with the crew he's assembled. Also, side note, they get a local guy named Miguel to help them. He was a snack. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, where'd they get this kid from? Because was he part of the tribe?
No, I don't believe so. But he knew the area. That's what.
Oh, he knew the area, but he wasn't like a member of the tribe.
No,
he didn't. Okay, but anyway, they need to find a tribes person so they can follow them to the group. And they see this tribes person inflicting punishment on a woman who was found guilty of adultery. And again, it's so hard to describe a lot of this stuff, but he basically takes like a wooden spike and destroys this woman's birth canal and then bludgeons her head and then sets her adrift. But the anthropologist is explaining, like, he has to do this. If he doesn't do this, then they will see him as a problem.
You know, it's actually it's a version of what Marcello Mastroianni is doing in Divorced Italian Style.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't, it's illegal, but if you don't kill your wife for what she's done to you, the community is going to punish you.
So that's the first sort of glimpse we get into like what's going on around here. The animal stuff, I mean, I don't think it's important to describe in great detail, but I do think the turtle scene is like,
it's hard to, I mean,
it's hard to watch because it's extended. There's a monkey getting its head.
Oh, that was
it's Indiana
hard
Jones, but then you see people eating
the
brain, and
it's just like, well,
one of the Americans shoots and kills a pig just gratuitously.
Yes, because I think at that point they're trying to punish that tribe, I believe. And there's also a scene with a spider. It's like, even that, like, you can't let the spider go. It's just
and a snake, which I have to say, I was screaming at that scene because I forget who it is. It's one of the people who's helping the anthropologist. and he had a snake in his boot. So when he put the boot on, the snake bit him, and it's clearly a highly venomous snake. And you can see his toe, his big toe was bit.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately he's screaming, cut it off. And of course, I'm thinking they're going to cut off his big toe.
Oh, no.
No, they wrap a tourniquet around his leg and do like an amputation above the knee. And I was screaming because I'm like, okay, y'all couldn't start with the toe.
I don't know.
And then go to the foot at the ankle.
And of course, he's dead moments later.
And then do below the knee and then do above the knee. They just went for the gusto.
But it's kind of like how outside of civilization, they devolve very quickly. This film grew. Because I don't believe that, I think part of the thing is that they didn't go in with the intention of being exploitative, but that is their conditioning and that is what they do.
I can't, I don't want to go through all the little things because it is extremely violent. It's upsetting. You do see the anthropologist naked. Like he decides, because there's some narration that goes on and he says that he decided to get naked to sort of make himself more open to the indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
So this white American guy gets naked and goes into the water, and then all the women get super excited.
Those women are
the wild women of Wongo.
Curious for sure.
They run into the water and they're grabbing his penis, and that was a moment of brevity or levity.
Every moment where with the studio executives is pure comedy gold.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a comedy because it's to some degree.
Well, part of it is the dubbing also, but it's just like these dummies. Oh my! Well, watching them react to the horrors is like, okay, wow.
I can see why, especially in the 80s, people had issue with it and thought it was,
well, it's this is extreme cinema,
reviled
for sure.
And then, a modern sort of critique of the film is that people think it's exploitative trash. And
I think that you're doing it a disservice to be so dismissive, because there's a lot of exploitative trash out there, and I don't think that there is a perspective and a point being made.
I think it's an effective, like, media satire on colonialism.
I've seen a few Deodato films. We watched one the other day that was pure trash called Body Count, which is basically a complete ripoff of Friday the 13th. Although the score by Goblin is, I guess,
you know what it's like? It's like if you mix Friday the 13th and what's that movie where that sheriff is whipping like the indigenous spirits?
Oh yeah, with the
and he has a name that's almost like Cash LaRue, or
I think that is his name, or Lash LaRue.
Lash LaRue.
Yeah, it stars Lash.
Chi-Chi's cousin.
That movie it's better than that, but The Dark Power is the movie.
If you mix up Friday the 13th with The Dark Power.
But yeah, Body Count, which is like two different things, like all these nameless people being killed, hence the body count, and then the spirit of a dead Native American shaman is killing these teenagers. And then there's like a love triangle going on between the sheriff, this abusive man, and Mimsy Farmer. But I've also, there's another film I know of Deodato's, I think it's called The House at the Edge of the Park, which I haven't seen in years and years and years, but is pure sleaze. But this kind of reawakened I remember watching this when I was really digging into giallos, and it made me want to watch some of his other films. And then Umberto Lenzi has another infamous cannibal film called Cannibal Ferox. Is that the name? I feel like we have to watch that based on.
Oh yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. I don't know.
And then of course there was a sort of sequel that came out, but it was only in name, not unlike Open Water 2.
Oh yeah, they were capitalizing on.
They're just capitalizing
the infamous.
And then of course Eli Roth has The Green Inferno, which is not a remake per se, but.
Well, and that has a similar message, but in
the
a different
message is similar,
because that's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, because
you have these white American,
they're student activists,
right? Like
going to save, the savages from themselves and then get hemmed up. That is probably one of Eli Roth's better films. I remember seeing that premiere at Toronto because I remember it was Eli Roth's dad's birthday because he filmed the crowd applauding him while he was on stage. That took several years to be actually released, though.
Oh,
I don't remember why. Anyway, we own that one. But yeah, I don't mind that film. But nothing kind of, can reach the depravity of something like what Cannibal Holocaust feels, simply because, the films like that can't be made in this way anymore, and for good reason.
I can't recommend this film just because of the subject matter and, like the real animal cruelty is.
But compare, like shock cinema, that's like recommending Pasolini's Salo. That's not an enjoyable film, but it's notable. So I think if you are an aficionado of cinema, you're a cineast, then those are films that you do put yourself through to see. Now, something like a Serbian film, which I think is trash, like, if you're, just reaching for notable titles that people bring up over and over again.
Well, that one I feel like, because I know the director of that film tried to say it was commentary on the political situation, but it's also like, yeah, but you don't need someone having intercourse with a baby skull. I mean, that just felt like, I think what's depicted in Cannibal Holocaust feels in line with maybe the stereotypes that people might have of these tribes. Like, while it is shocking, nothing felt like it's extreme for sure, but nothing felt sort of like WTF, like where did they get this from? In a Serbian film, it's like, oh, y'all were just, a couple of y'all sat at a table and thought, what's the most effed up stuff we can come up with?
Yeah, and I think there's
and that feels gratuitous.
That is gratuitous. But, if you're talking about if you're really trying to depict the brutality of the world, censorship has no business coming into the picture. It's like, let's be realistic. There's no film that is worse than what actually having to live through some of life experiences can be, depending on, what happens to you so like shit's dark. And so I don't know. I think it's unfair to, completely dismiss something because of that. It's perfectly all right to have a sensitivity, to feel, I don't like this word, but to feel triggered, and that's okay. Like, to each their own. You know what works for you and what doesn't, but that doesn't mean that we can't. Cinema art is a way to kind of reflect truthfully and honestly and authentically on what it is to be human. And I think that it's okay to reach for the depths.
We need to wrap this up. What would you give Cannibal Holocaust?
I'm going to give it 3.5, but oh my God, I love the score so much. I love it.
I would give it 3.5 out of 5 for what it is, more than, it's weird to say, like, I think it's very good. But I mean, it's impressive. Like, I'm sure when I saw it 17 years ago, I was just like, what is this? Because I recall maybe watching it. There was like a week where I popped in like this and
Necromantic,
yeah. And
Eraserhead, probably.
No, not Eraserhead. There was a third one though, and
yeah, I had.
It might have been Necromantic 2.
Oh, that's just trash.
That one was too much. But I'm sure back then I just watched it with like one eye while I was doing something else, because whatever. But now looking at it, knowing that I have to think about it and talk about it, it's more substantial. Like, I would say for people who are aware of this film but never thought that they would want to watch it and are curious, I would say satisfy your curiosity, because it is more substantial than just some silly ultra graphic movie.
I think seeing it in a theater was helpful as well, because this isn't like a pop it in on a Sunday afternoon. We watched this at 9:30 at night. We each had 3 drinks apiece. I mean, there's a mood to be in, to kind of get into it and withstand it. And also, it's a bizarre film experience watching this, because there are things that are utterly disgusting, and then 10 minutes later you're laughing your ass off.
All right, what do we have coming this week? I know I'm seeing some things.
Die My Love with Jennifer Lawrence and Pattinson, which is at Cannes.
Oh, I don't have that on my list.
You do, or you should, because I've sent a couple emails about it.
I don't. I have Black Phone 2. I have Nuremberg. I know we're going to Haunted Halloween. I watched Is This On? Is This Thing On?
Is This Thing On? Yeah.
The new Will Arnett and Bradley Cooper movie. But you say I'm watching a Jennifer Lawrence. You know what that makes me think of? Snatch Game, when Simone was Harriet Tubman.
And she mixed up...
and she confused Jennifer Lewis with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Because RuPaul asked her a question about how do you feel about Jennifer Lewis something. And Simone, as Harriet Tubman, says, well, you know, white folks get everything. And RuPaul's like, wait.
No?
Are you talking about Jennifer Lawrence?
That's an easy enough mistake to make. I get Colin Firth and Farrell still to this day. It's like, well, I'm also bad with directions.
Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulroney.
Oh, yeah. But I legit...
Or you know who else I can't keep straight? Helen Hunt.
And Holly Hunter?
Holly Hunter. And you could even throw in that lady from Ozark.
Laura Linney?
Well,
that's...
Laura Dern.
Okay. You know what you can't mix anybody up with?
Who?
Sigourney Weaver. Now, I legit have to look at my hands sometimes to be like, that's right, that's left.
And you still messed it up.
I don't like directions and I don't like math, okay?
Excuses.
Just give me a point. Show me the arrow.
Wow.
Telling me all this stuff while I'm trying to multitask and drive amongst all these.
But I'm talking about left and right. I'm not talking about head north on, but I'm talking about left and right.
Where, like, oh God, yeah. Don't try to give me.
Don't ask Nick. Don't tell him go left, go right, and don't ask him like what's 30% of 19.
Speaking of
Harry, he will implode.
Speaking of Harry Tubman, I wouldn't have been able to help anybody. The moss on the north side of the tree. What? Kill me now. I can't do anything.
Okay, Miss Cleo. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Ta-ta.